You're listening to the 153rd edition of the Bitachon podcast. We continue. We're talking about the passuk in chapter 37, verse 5 of Tehillim, of Psalms. Gol al Hashem darkecha. Roll onto Hashem your ways. Uvitach alav v'hu yaseh. Trust in Hashem and He will do it for you. Hama'amatz, says the Yavitz. Hama'amatz koyach lavodas Hashem yisborach. Somebody who puts in efforts into his service of God. And specifically, we're right before Purim, so we can think about Mordechai and Esther, who had to put in tremendous efforts in order to save the Jewish people. A person who puts in efforts to save Jews, a person who puts in efforts to save himself, his own Yiddishkeit, his own spirituality, his own relationship with Hashem, he gets extra siyata d'shmaya, he gets extra power, extra strength. And the opposite is true if the person does the opposite. Amar David, Gol al Hashem darkecha v'tach alav v'hu yaseh. King David says, roll onto Hashem your ways, trust in Him, and He will do it for you. Yirtzeh, yetchilas darkecha l'shem shamayim v'hu ha'gilgal hanizkarein, right? Talks about rolling. What does it mean to roll? So like we saw previously, there's a concept of you start it and Hashem finishes it. Just like when you're rolling a barrel, let's say, you just have to start the motion and then it moves on its own. So what do you start with? What's the beginning of your rolling? What is that first thought that you need to have? The first thought that you have in any action should always be l'shem shamayim. I'm trying to do this for God's sake. Let's say a person is about to do something which doesn't seem like it's going to bear fruit per se. It doesn't seem like it's going to be successful in a natural way. All you need to do is place your trust in Hashem, believe that He is going to help you, do it l'shem shamayim, and Hashem will complete it. Right? That's what this passuk says. Bitach Hashem, etc. Bitach alav v'hu yaseh. Trust in Him and He will do it. When you start rolling, you got to have the right intentions. You got to place your trust in Hashem, but Hashem is going to complete it. King David had experience with this type of situation when he came to fight Goliath. So there was no natural way that he could succeed, that he could win. The first intention that he had, the way that he went into the situation, was with a l'shem shamayim, doing it for God's sake. He saw that the Philistine, the Plishti, was doing it when he was attacking the Jewish people, or when he was speaking about King David as King David came to fight with him. He made fun of King David, but he also made fun of God. So David HaMelech comes in and says, you can't do that. Really, David, Ata ba'ilai b'cherev, ani ba'ilach b'shem Hashem tzavokos. King David says, and this is a passuk in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 45. King David says, you come to me with a sword, but I come to you with the name of God. The Lord of hosts, Elokei Marachos Yisrael, the God who stands over the battlefield of the Jewish people, the army of the Jewish people, Asher Harafta, that you spoke negatively of, that you made fun of. You made fun of God. Don't mess with our God. Don't mess with the God of Israel. Ratzah atah ba b'derech hateva. Ani ba b'shem mish b'roi ki nesi l'chvoidei. He was saying, you come, Goliath, you come with a sword, you come with natural means to try to fight against us. But I'm coming with supernatural means. I'm coming with the name of God, because I am coming to thwart, to battle against your approach, your way of thinking about God. I'm coming with a kinah. I'm coming with great anger to bring back the honor to God. That's what King David said. Okay, that's the Ivitz. Now he brings the Be'er Avram. The way that a person wants to go, we find, our Chazal tell us, that they let a person go. If a person wants to do negative deeds, so he can succeed in that. If a person wants to do positive deeds, obviously, the positive side of reality is stronger. He will also succeed. He will certainly succeed. Right, like the Mishnah in Avos says, person should choose choose a path, which is splendid to the one who does it. Al pi darchei Hashem, based on the ways of Hashem, meaning there are certain actions, certain means that a person wants to use, let's say, to make parnasa, to make his livelihood. So if the Torah says that this is permitted, you can do it. Okay, but don't do the things that are not permitted. Don't try to succeed in a way which is against the Torah. Hashem darkecha, that's what it means. When you take your path, when you start your path, make sure you're doing something which is what Hashem would choose for you, what Hashem allows for you to do. Uvitachon, and then trust in Him. Don't be so involved in your business. Don't look for more and more business, for more and more merchandise to sell, but rather minimize the amount that you are involved in your business. V'tachlis yiyeh lilmod Torah. If you make sure that what is my focus, what is my goal? Is that more and more money? Or is it to have what I need so that I can learn Torah, so that I can be involved in my avodas Hashem? If that's your focus, if your focus is towards the will of Hashem, and making sure, of course, to do things according to His will when it comes even to the hishtadlus, the efforts that we put in, then both of them will succeed. Your schayra, your merchandise, your business, and your Torah learning will also succeed. He points out, it's important to remember, we need to remind ourselves, even when we see success in our businesses, the success is not in our hands. But interestingly, when it comes to spiritual matters, that is up to us. When it comes to Torah learning, that's up to me. Yagata v'lo matzata al tamin. Chazal say, if you put in efforts into your spiritual matters, into your Torah learning, and you didn't succeed, the Gemara says, don't believe a person who says that, because that's just not possible. It depends on your efforts. If you put in the right amount of efforts, you will succeed in your learning Torah, in your spiritual matters. So interesting that when it comes to spiritual matters, and the Madrigas Adam Alter Navardik says the same idea. When it comes to spiritual matters, you have to put in every effort. In your learning, you have to give it your all. You can't just sit there, space out, and say, Hashem, send me the information. Just send me a download. That doesn't work. You have to put in every effort. If you put in effort, you will succeed when it comes to spiritual matters. But when it comes, when it comes to your parnas, when it comes to your livelihood, it doesn't necessarily depend on your efforts, because I could do something here and then the money could end up coming from somewhere else. But if you are focused in this way on your spirituality, and if you put in your full efforts into your learning Torah, into your spiritual matters, and minimal efforts into your schora, into your merchandise, into your business, then you'll have both. You'll have success in both. That's the right approach to life. He brings here on the bottom of it, told us in the story about Reb Zundel, right? This is his list over here we're studying together. So in the stories about him, it says, he would constantly review the importance of having bitachon in Hashem, trusting in Hashem completely, and studying Torah. He would say something even further. He would say that if you sit and learn, you just sit and learn, and you don't think about your parnasa, but you have absolute, full-hearted bitachon, trust in God, in the one who gives sustenance and life to everyone, to everything, you are guaranteed that you'll have your livelihood. It doesn't even matter how it's going to come, but it's going to come. He said, it could even mean that the golden coins will fall out of the walls of your house onto your head. I'm adding onto your head. You don't have to worry about it. If you're focused, if you're completely in your learning, and it's like the Rambam says also by a person has decided he's going to become like Shevet Levi, so they're guaranteed their needs will be taken care of. A person who completely gives himself over to his ruchnius, to his spiritual matters. Okay, here brings the Shas V'Tshuvos to the Rivash. He says a short line. Here's another point. It's good to daven to Hashem, just daven. Daven with full intent, with all your heart. You don't even have to say explicitly, right? I don't have to give Hashem advice about how to help me get what I need. I don't need to say, Hashem, send me my parnasa through this. Send me my livelihood. Send me success through this. That's not necessary. Hashem knows what I need. Hashem knows how to get me there. Let the paths, let the means that Hashem is going to use to give you success or give you what you need, leave that in Hashem's hands. That's another pshat in this passuk. Sefer Ikarim, he brings here from the Sefer Ikarim. Chazei Hashem Yisborach yimshuchu mitzad tefillah al makablim, k'fi mashiyeh b'kochim l'kablim. The kindness of Hashem is drawn down through prayer. When we daven, when we ask Hashem for things, it draws down that which we need, the kindness of Hashem. Based on what we have the capacity to receive. That's what King David says. He refers to King David as the singer, the sweet singer of Klal Yisrael. So the singer says, King David says, roll unto Hashem your ways, I want to pronounce this word properly, that the passuk is saying, roll unto Hashem your ways and trust in Him and He will do it. It's coming to say that the aspect here is that what succeeds for the person has to do with what you are able to receive. And it has only to do with the wisdom of Hashem. Only God knows what we really have the capacity to receive. This brings me back to the question which I believe I mentioned last week, but I think about this, people say, well, if I be talking, let's say it's not really good for me. Hashem can make it good for you. Hashem knows what we really have the capacity. Hashem can change what we have the capacity to receive. It says in Medrash Chachamim, Gol al Hashem darkecha perush, shetevatzel ritzoncha. This means, what does it mean, Gol al Hashem darkecha? Roll onto Hashem your ways. It means, nullify your own will. Rak Gol al Hashem darkecha. Roll onto Hashem your ways. It means to say, let whatever Hashem has in store for you be good to you. Whatever Hashem chooses for you, that's the right way. Sometimes in life, we don't have a choice. Sometimes in life, we end up in places that we didn't choose. Maybe a little uncomfortable, maybe good. But we look over there and we say, oh, well, what if I would have chosen that? Or what if I would have made that choice? No, don't think that way. Recognize, understand, Gol Hashem darkecha, that Anything that's happened to you, the paths that you've taken, the choices that you've made, yes, Hashem chose for you that which is the best for you. Trust in Hashem. Don't trust in any means anything that looks like that's the thing that caused me to get to where I am today or that brought me to success. Don't believe that. Don't look at things superficially. Hashem himself is the means of all the means. He's the reason behind all the reasons. As the end of the passuk says, trust in him and he will do it. It means he will choose that which is the best for you. You need not worry. How did I get into this predicament? How did I get into this situation? Why did I make this choice? No, don't think that way. This is the right choice. There's no regrets. There's no regrets. If this is where I am today, Hashem wants me in this spot, and I need to work with where I am. Trust in Hashem. Recognize that where I got to today is Hashem's guidance. Okay, this is the last piece that we have now on this passuk from the Divrei Shalom. Let's say a person has a little worry about a small matter. A little matter, a little worry, a little action I could take that perhaps can get me to where I want to get to. Give me a success. He says an amazing thing. A little matter, a little situation, a little effort, that's okay. You can work in a natural way in that type of situation. You can try to ask somebody for help, human being. The passuk says in Devarim, in Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 18, that Hashem will help you in all of your matters, right? In all that you will do, right? So there are situations where I can do, and I can trust that if I do, Hashem will help me. I will have siyata d'shmaya. I will have divine assistance. But let's say it's something which is very big, very difficult, very challenging. It doesn't seem like there's no natural way that I can get what I need or that I can be helped. So if it's impossible, I don't have to do anything. Sometimes people think I have to do the maximum ishtadlus. Even though it's not going to work, I have to do the maximum ishtadlus. That's not true, said the Divrei Shalom. In a situation where you can't, you don't have to. In a certain way, that kind of situation is even more conducive to Bitachon. I can't do anything, so throw your pack all the way onto God. Throw it completely onto Hashem. Trust just in Hashem. He will do it all. Because because of Bitach alav, like the passuk says, trust in Him, and He will do it. Our passuk, trust in Hashem, and He will do it, means it's speaking about this type of situation. Person doesn't have any hope, doesn't have any actions that he can take. So then what should be the approach? The approach, says the Divrei Shalom, is just trust in Hashem. Just trust in Hashem. Don't try so hard. Just put all your efforts into trusting Hashem. Thanks so much for listening. See you again next time.